that space is the final frontier, to go where no man has gone before. In actuality, is the beginning of the future. The knowledge we gain about the universe increases day by day, but our means of accessing it is a slow and sometimes very painful journey. Since the 1970s, the Americans' baseline industry has been moving in the wrong direction. From being able to send humans to the moon atop a Saturn V rocket to then only being able to send astronauts to the ISS aboard the space shuttle to now having nothing at all. Space has been a place only explored by the biggest governments of the planet. But now the tides are shifting. The most powerful countries on earth aren't willing to put effort, so do others have to step up. The engineering feats of the 20th century have put us in a position to accomplish all of our goals, but yet the entire reason we began has been forgotten. The reasons these rockets are built, the places we have won, the things we have achieved, it's all just been swept under the rug until now. The private space flight industry is growing at an unprecedented rate. The biggest problems with space travel are being tackled by some of the smartest and richest people of this planet. And it's not a coincidence. Space travel is one of, if not the most important issues today. It's not a cultural issue, it's not a political issue, it's a matter of evolution. We have always been explorers, moving from sea to land, moving across entire continents, traversing oceans, covering every single inch of a planet, and now it's time to go even further. As of 2019, only 4 entities has put a space capsule in orbit, successfully returned back to Earth. The United States, Russia, China, and SpaceX. That's it. SpaceX is competing with some of the most powerful forces in the entire world. The goal is simple: to enable humans to live on another planet, and as of right now, the destination looks like Mars. SpaceX has revolutionized the commercial spaceflight industry and are the ones igniting the public interest in space travel. But the company hasn't always has the reputation it does now. The Falcon 1 rocket, SpaceX's first and almost last venture's commercial spaceflight, what is
When you had that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
On September 28, 2008, things went a little differently. How can one carry a 165 kilograms stimulated payload into orbit successfully? For the first time, privately built liquid fuel boosters reached orbit in the Falcon 1 rocket, in the first of the family of Falcon rockets developed solely by SpaceX, stands 21 meters high and capable of carrying over 500 kilograms of payload to low Earth orbit. That day, the first successful flight had single-handedly saved SpaceX from extinction. After the first 3 failed attempts, SpaceX was on life support. The $100 million that was put into SpaceX was all gone. If this forcefully and succeeded, SpaceX most likely would have gone under.
I messed up the first 3 launches.
I messed up the first 3 launches. First 3 launches failed. Unfortunately, the 4th launch, which was that was the last money that we had for Falcon 1, the 4th launch worked, or that would have been it for SpaceX.
Simply putting something in orbit is one of the hardest tasks and all these failures show how challenging the process really is. they don't, received everything. On December 23rd, NASA awarded commercial contracts on a private spaceflight agency, and 13 of which went to orbital sciences and 12 went to SpaceX. It was a $6 billion contract from the SpaceX received. In a good way this time. In 2010, SpaceX developed Dragon, the yet again one of the world's first commercially built spacecraft to be launched and recover successfully from orbit. It was introduced in the Falcon 9. Then it was introduced the Falcon 9, made with 3 usability in mind. It's a 2-stage rocket with 9 Merlin engines that is over 3 times the size of Falcon. Both of these, the Falcon 9 rocket and the Dragon capsule, were launched together at the first time in the summer of 2000. A year and a half later, they were sending Dragon to the International Space Station, becoming yet again the first private spacecraft to dock in the ISS. With all the success of the Dragon spacecraft, let's not forget that the Falcon 1 in Mon itself after years. But you can only miss BB. But you can only mess something up so many times before it starts to go your way. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For the first time, reusable rockets in spaceflight was changed forever.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff of Falcon 9.
Reusable rockets in spaceflight was changed forever. 3-6 on a 2-stage Falcon 9 rocket successfully launched a 1 satellite into orbit around the Earth and to return the first stage back at once. Just 4 months later, in April 2016, they need to stream yet again from the ISS for NASA. For the first time, when the first stage of Falcon 9 came on the drone ship in the middle of Atlantic Ocean, as shown. But let's get bigger. The Smoking Heavy, or the Falcon Heavy, is an engineering masterpiece. Tens of thousands of hours of work, years of innovation, all with one goal in mind: carrying humans to space, returning them to the moon and even beyond. The list of most of the Falcon Heavy is the same as the 18th Boeing 747. Even trying to do that soon is there. The first stage of rockets is composed of 3 different Falcon 9 courses with a total 27 Merlin engines, all firing simultaneously. Shortly after lift of the summer course slows down to conserve fuel. When the fuel is exhausted halfway, they come back to the Earth's landing positions. The space shuttle that NASA used in 1917 to 2011 cost approximately $6,000 for each kilogram of material. to be sent into orbit, how can we have something to use here in the 1300s? Nothing else even comes close actually. The ability to lift over 64,000 kilograms of mass, greater than a 73-7 jet that we see in our passengers daily. Reusable rockets are necessary. Why? In order to live on other planets, the only way that will be feasible for the masses to reduce cost of space flight drastically. Just in Saturn V in 1969, which in today's money cost a few $billion for lunch, you start to see the power for using it. It's going to be refilled and taken on multiple trips nobody would own. Imagine having a rocket with humans that could be launched some to other orbits to return to the surface refilled and then launched again multiple times in the same day. This is the key of affordable space travel. All we have to do is perfect it. Once perfected, an even bigger rocket into the limitless space X will revolutionize the way we travel. To be the 4-or-dead Falcon rocket will be over 118 meters wide. The spacecraft to 7 engines on top of the booster named Super Heavy with 31 more reactor engines to be 4-come Starship. Starship is a system that will bring some of the shortest travel times humanity has ever faced in the phase of the universe. Historically, SpaceX is the biggest example of it. When you realize that the Starship itself is more powerful than the Falcon Heavy, investments in rocket technology start to become apparent. 3 seats are the ones leading the charge to the ones for tackling the problem. SpaceX missions and their reusable rockets will impact space travel we pay per affected monetary transactions with Tesla, enact electric vehicles, the wind you link will impact our biology. But they did. People were skeptical that it ever be able to land a rocket, but yet they did. Even recently, people doubted that the Falcon Heavy would work, but of course it did. 10 years ago, they just got their first rocket into orbit. So, looking at the planned SpaceX, there's a good chance that you are looking directly in the future as well. In 2015, the SpaceX, for the first time, went to the first stage of the Falcon 9 back on March 40. It's also owned by SpaceX. Picks up the story behind it, gives a fate. Four days earlier of the July 19th, at 2 p.m., they loaded aboard a Saturn V rocket. Launched into space, they left Earth on a mission that no one else had ever done before. But once the smoke and dust from the launch pad had settled their line launch pad 39A, the neighboring launch pad 39A, from which one of the biggest and most powerful invention of knitting has been launched. Saturn V. The Saturn V, which carried the first humans to space, or better to say, the first humans to the moon. Yes, the Saturn V. On the launch pad, on which the SpaceX Falcon Heavy will be launched. Launchpad 39A. July 28, 1969. As it happened, the first humans stepped on moon. The mystery of human existence files not just in staying alive, but in finding something to live for. This is the Falcon Heavy. Please subscribe to my channel, The Smartest Perks. You can also subscribe the channel's YouTube account and please press the bell icon. And thanks to brilliant.org for supporting to make this video. This is one of the best forums to represent your own knowledge or your own interest, as it deals with the space and whatever you wish to, calculus, Einstein, etc. Please check this out, brilliant.org. And for now, let us just hope that we can see the Falcon Heavy launch. Smartest Works, presented by Arjun. Please subscribe to this channel. And if you like this video, just go ahead and press the bell icon.